So what does it mean when I say that meditation or this contemplative practice brings one back to herself, or that it allows one to get out of her own way? Well, a lot of spiritual traditions would say this, and somatic practices, contemplative practices. I say this in Alexander context too. But when it comes to Vedic meditation, what I mean is that it allows one to come back to what her birthright is, which is infinite bliss, infinite joy, and infinite adaptability, regardless of circumstance. So that, that joy of living comes not from a thing. I got the job, I got the man, I got the house. It comes from all things. It comes from contact with the sunlight when you're walking down the street. It comes from the flower that's just starting to sprout up through the sidewalk. It comes from the angry email you get that you actually don't have a huge reaction to, because you know that it's coming from their stress and not from, any personalized vindictive attack. And, that's the joy of living. That's the promise of living that many of us have forgotten because we're stressed out and we're myopically focused on all of these material things, and not actually the somatic, sensual, and embodied experience of I am pure consciousness having a human experience in this little body for a short time on this earth. And so something I have observed in many students at some point in their meditation career, it tends to be early on at the end of their 4-day course, sometimes when they learn their advanced technique or when they learn to round, but at some point they'll come out of a meditation with quiet but palpable tears of joy, or a real quietude that is beyond words, that is poignant, not necessarily melancholic, but poignant. And it's paradoxically, it's like a sorrow joy. And that's the fullness of life. And what is that? I think it's a sorrow joy at this quietude, this bliss is something I remember, but I had forgotten, and I didn't even know I had forgotten it. And now you've shown me that this has always been there. And, I think some of the sadness is, oh, why wasn't I experiencing this all the time? But the joy is way more predominant in that for however much longer, I will now have this as my baseline if I choose it.